Echo 5, do you copy? Echo 5.
Echo 2, good morning. Nice of you to drop by.
Feeling alright, sir? Thought we lost you.
Right now, I feel like I can take on this whole podcast myself.
I know what you mean. Ready to send that transmission to Echo Base?
Yes, sir. R10, patch through.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Hoth Transmissions. This is Echo 2, here with...
Here with Echo 5. Hello, everybody.
Alright guys, so, we're going through Season 1 of The Mandalorian, so I believe we left off on Episode 4, which was the
Sanctuary.
The Sanctuary. And so now we're jumping on to the next one, where Mando gets stuck on Tatooine.
Yeah, nostalgic episode.
Yeah, it was actually really cool because it kind of had like a similar feel to, I want to say, the Phantom Menace, where they get like this space battle. They're trying to escape Naboo, get past the Trade Federation. They get damaged engine, and so what's the planet that they're closest to that they got to land on? Tatooine.
Yeah, it's always the sort of kind of safe spot, Switzerland.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's kind of a nice little nod back to the prequels, kind of giving us like a little nostalgic view. And that's one thing I've noticed with The Mandalorian is that they do a lot of new stuff with a lot of nostalgia, which is
fun.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. I just like how the episode just started out. He's just chilling in space, flying in space, and then you see that he's getting attacked. He's already being tracked by another bounty hunter.
Yeah, that was a fun. That ship kind of looked like it actually had a Naboo look to it too. The bounty hunter
True,
ship.
it did actually, and the guy actually looked similar as well.
Yeah, it kind of had that. I don't know if he was like a bounty hunter from Naboo, but yeah, you never know. He, like you said, it had that look, and then the ship had the very similar style to Naboo with the kind of the circular area of the wing on each side, like it had that same, like the Naboo starfighter and the Nubian, the silver one from Phantom Menace. They flying had the same kind of style. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I like how the bounty hunter used his line. He's like, I could bring you warm or I can bring you cold, and then Din Djarin's like, hey, that's my line, and then blows him up.
Yeah, I actually thought it was pretty funny. They got a little bit of humor in there. It's pretty cool. So going into this episode, thinking back to the first time you saw it, what were you really expecting out of it? Like,
I didn't know because at this point they were like we talked about before, they kind of wrapped up the whole thing about the asset. He gets the asset, he brings him back, and then decides to rescue him. Decides he kind of has a change of heart, and then we get the Sanctuary episode where he goes and kind of takes a break. And by this episode, I had no idea where they were going to go with the story. Lands on Tatooine. I was obviously hoping to see some fan service. I kind of expected it. But the ultimate goal by the end of it, I honestly didn't know where they were going with it. I had a blast in this episode though. Just there was a lot of fun stuff in here. A lot of callbacks to, like I said, the prequels and also the original Star Wars, kind of like Tatooine in the second season too, where we saw Anakin's pod racer. We saw, pit droids in this one. So a callback to the prequels, and then we got to see, of course, Mos Eisley spaceport. A lot of stuff. It was really cool. A nice little mesh of prequel, original, and even new stuff.
very true, very true. Yeah, I remember because in second season when they go to Tatooine, they kind of focus on like the Krayt Dragon and kind of like the similar stuff of that. And this one we get a little bit of hints of Mos Espa. He goes to Mos Eisley, and you see Cantina. You see a bunch of droids.
You get a couple Mos Espa references. From you get one from Pelimato, and you get one from Fennec too.
That's right. I forgot Pelimato says something.
Yeah, yeah. She trying to remember. I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what she said in that one in particular, but I do remember she mentioned Mos Espa at one point. Um, but oh, you know what? I'm thinking. You know what? I might be thinking season two, where you see the map uh, when Mando's trying to find the Mandalorian, and Pele Motto shows him that map of Tatooine, and she's like, "Here's Mos Espa, and then over here is Mos Pelgo."
Oh yeah, that
I
was
could
in
have it mixed.
season two.
I might be having them mixed up here.
Yeah, yeah, that was all done in season two, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
that one was season two. But Fennec mentioned Mos Espa because she had a job. She said she was going to do over there, and she was bribing Tora Calican. You know, she helped him out. If he helped her out, then she'd hook him up with some of the earnings.
What do you think of
Uh,
that character, by the way?
uh,
Tor.
Tora
Yeah,
Tora Calican.
yeah,
He's a little goofy. At first, he's all right, man. I mean, he's not my favorite character. He's kind of he's kind of interesting because you're not sure. He's real green in the beginning of the episode, and by the end of it, he kind of actually has some wit to him. So
true.
that was kind of interesting. At first I thought he was just going to be completely clueless, and the way they kind of played him off. But by the end of the episode, he was a little. I mean, he's no Boba Fett or Din Djarin or Aurra Singh, but he definitely had some intelligence.
Yeah, it's definitely a rookie, and I don't know. For me, he seemed just a little incapable, and I think that's why he hired Mando in the first place. Just
The episode it kind of mirrors a classic John Wayne movie called The Searchers,
okay,
where John Wayne takes kind of like a rookie, and they end up having dealings with Native Americans,
okay,
and it's kind of similar to the Tusken Raiders, and to where the rookie kind of doesn't really, he doesn't trust the Native Americans like a lot of the cowboys didn't. But John Wayne's like, hey, these guys are cool. I can talk their language. I can negotiate with these guys, kind of like how Din Djarin would talk to the Tuscans with the sign language, which is the first time we saw that whole type of communication. By the way, we had never
that
seen
is
that
true.
before. That was fun.
That is true. That is actually one thing that I really did like about this episode. Is like when I saw it for the first time, I saw the Tusken Raiders. I'm like, oh man, okay. So he's like, oh, why don't you ask them themselves? And the Tuskens are there. I wasn't actually expecting Mando to actually be able to negotiate and communicate with them.
No, yeah, it was cool. That was
And then
fun.
he's like, I thought it was funny. He's like, oh, let me see your binoculars. And he's like, okay. Then he tossed it to the squares. Those were new. And Mando's like, yeah, they were.
Yeah, they were. No, that was fun. I love. So I guess we would kind of assume that Din Djarin's been to Tatooine before, because he can speak the language of the Tuscans, and he mentions Womp Rats.
I mean,
He kind of.
you gotta imagine his character. He's like a bounty hunter, so I'm sure he travels all over the place. He has
Sure.
to learn like the languages of all the local planets and everything, even and be able to communicate with them because I'm sure he's had to have dealings with the Tusken Raiders for one mission or two before.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I know one thing I noted when I saw the episode last time is Calican. I believe it's Calican. They mentioned that the speeders that they ride on are Corellian speeders, which I thought was kind of a nice little call to
Oh, that is true. That is true.
I don't know where Calican's from, but I would imagine he seems like he'd be from Corellia. He kind of has a little bit of a Han Solo-ish touch to him, but not as witty. But
Yeah, yeah.
a
I was
little
just gonna
scruffy.
say. I was gonna
So
say you're actually right on that. That kind of does remind me of him a little bit.
yeah, I'm just thinking of the Solo movie, just like people you'd see in that planet, just the way they act. Um, you know, just I could be wrong, but I would think I'd have to look that up on look up where he's from, but I would think he's from Corellia. He reminds me of someone who would be from Corellia. Could be wrong, but I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm actually curious of how they got his whole character. Um, they don't
Yeah.
really have much detail on where he's from. It just says
Well,
where he died. He just
now I
died
think, yeah, he just died out in the. Was that the Dune Sea where they were at?
I think it might have been.
I know, because he
Oh no,
mentioned.
he died in Mos Eisley, but where they were,
Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm thinking of Fennec, where Fennec supposedly died, presumably died, but then showed up
yeah.
later. He dies when he goes back, and yeah, when the Jaren, he actually uses, when he kills, he uses that flashbang on Calican,
Oh
when
yeah.
he uses that flashbang. The same. It's funny because they use that trick together on Fennec to get her, and then he didn't learn, because then uh, didn't use it again when Calican had Pelemoto and Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, held hostage.
Pretty
So
much. I like how many callbacks they have. Like they
yeah,
they do a lot of like build up for a lot of the stuff they do, which I actually find really fascinating.
you
Like,
know. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, I was just saying, like in like the episodes before, they like introduce like some new weapon, and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then it becomes important later on,
Sure. Like the
and you don't
MK
even expect
modified
it.
rifles.
Hmm.
Those, those were the same weapons that they used in like the prequel area for the Senate guards. It's
I
like the same.
didn't actually.
Yeah, they have. They mentioned them in the Clone Wars. They
Oh,
actually have.
interesting.
Yeah, the MK modified rifle, and then they mention it again later. I think in season 2, when they're on episode 6, when they're um when they've got my gosh, I can't even think right now. When they go in and try to find out where Grogu is, and Din Djarin goes in with what can't I think of his name? Comedian.
The Oh, Bill Burr.
Bill Burr. Yeah, what the heck? I'm like totally drawing blank. But when they go in there, they're talking about like the type of artillery that they have, that the enemy has,
Hmm.
and they they have MK modified rifles there too. So it's kind of one that they use throughout the series.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know that the we were talking earlier about how we were wondering if Calican was from Corellia and has a little bit of a Han Solo touch to him. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it, it seems like he's sitting in the same chair that Han Solo's sitting in when he shoots Greedo. The whole Han shot first classic thing, and he's kind of kicking back.
Oh, that's right. You're.
He's he's kind of kicking back with his feet up, and it just seems I believe it's the same spot.
I think it might be because I actually did notice that the first time I watched it. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, this looks very familiar.
and he has that same kind of kick back look. Hey Mando, trying to be all cool.
Keyword try. Oh, this is my first job. You can keep the money, all of it. I just need this to get into the guild.
Yeah, yeah, he's
So it's
kind of
kind of cool that they kind of you get a little bit of like history on the guild. Like you kind of like realize that there's like not anybody can just join the guild. It's like, oh, just wake up one morning. Yeah, I'm gonna be bounty hunter. Let me just walk down to the guild to get a job.
sure.
They're like, nope. All right, you got to complete this mission, and if you can complete this, then we'll accept you.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not something you just walk into. That's for sure. Did you catch so when he was talking about the bounty hunter that he's going after, they wanted help to go track down and capture Calican, when he was trying to get help from Din Djarin in Mos
Yeah.
Eisley, the cantina in Mos Eisley. He talks about the bounty hunter that they're going to go after, and he's like, "Oh, she's out beyond the Dune Sea." So they have like these funny little references sometimes, like quotes from the originals that they kind of threw in there too, which was kind of fun.
Okay. What'd you notice?
Well, I'm just saying that he says that line when the bounty hunter's out there, and he's just like, "Oh, she's out beyond the Dune Sea." Like kind of how like Luke, he's like, "Oh, you know, he's just uh, big question. What did you think about the end scene when after they shot Fennec and you see a person walking up? Did you think it was Boba Fett? That was the popular guess. I mean, most people were right, but did you think it was anybody else at the time?
I mean, I wanted to think it was somebody else, but a lot of the hints were drawn towards Boba Fett, mainly because on both sides, like back when they first announced Mandalorian, they're like, "Oh yeah, Boba Fett's never going to make an appearance in the Mandalorian," and so I was
Yeah,
like, "Okay, so that's going to be out." So, but when the guy's walking up, it's those the sound of his boots and the
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 Spurs.
metal and the spurs.
Yeah,
totally sounded like Boba Fett, which you can hear back in Empire Strikes Back,
Sure.
and so they're very similar. So I was like,
Yeah. You have to really
th-
listen to that dinner scene when he walks in with Vader, and you kind of have to wait till the other surrounding sound kind of quiets down, and you actually hear the spurs. And it's I didn't notice that the first time, or the first couple times I watched it before season two. When I was first watching season one. I mean, it was pretty. They really emphasize on that sound on that scene too, and I think that was kind of the hint. But I think a lot of people don't know about that, the whole spur thing. So only really diehard fans would have caught that, you know.
this is true.
So
Because
because it's
I didn't catch it in the beginning.
I didn't either. But yeah, obviously we knew it was him. But did you assume it was him, or did you think it was possibly somebody else? I was all I thought it might have been Gideon. Honestly, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's Boba Fett's just that's what everybody wants. But it's then they're gonna have to go on some sidetrack story. They're trying to do a specific story here with Mando. I don't think that they'll bring Boba Fett in, and I think it's just Moff Gideon. But yeah, it was Boba Fett. So
Yeah, because that's what I thought too. Because I thought that they were going to kind of keep it separate. Kind of like, okay, they're going to just introduce new characters.
sure.
This guy probably just has the armor of Boba Fett, or at least pieces of it, maybe just his boots. So they're just doing this just to throw us off, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is Boba Fett, and then somebody
Yeah.
walks up, nope, it's not him.
I loved when he arrived at Tatooine and he walks in the Mos Eisley spaceport or the Mos Eisley Cantina. You call it the Mos Eisley spaceport, which they did. I like how they had that little reference. They land in Docking Bay 35. It's
True.
it's Docking Bay 94 in A New Hope, but it was just kind of fun to see another docking bay.
Yeah, it's really cool to be able to see like the different docking bays and stuff. How they kind of like hint, and kind of give us like a little bit more wide view of the whole city.
Yeah, just a fun little expansion, you know. Um, but I love when he sees the EV-99 droids that are serving at the bar instead of
Oh yeah,
it was Wooer. It's like WHER. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Wooher. Um,
Hoover. Yeah.
yeah, that was actually one of my favorite. That's still one of my favorite action figures in my collection. The 1999 Green Power of the Forest Comtech chip figure, the Wooher.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, that one's awesome. I ended
That
up
was
having. I
just a
think
really cool series.
that's actually the com. I'm going so random, so off base here, but the Comtech chip collection is still my favorite collection, especially the green one. There was only 10 of them, so it was really easy to collect. But there was a couple of them that were really hard to find. I ended up having to just buy them online. But yeah, I just remember um, the cantina bartender was one of my favorite figures. But it was kind of fun to see that bar again, and now they have droids. It's quiet down, and they have the Doctor Mandible, that sort of praying mantis looking fly crab looking guy, um, who he's actually playing Sabak with Pele Motto in season two when Manda goes back to Tatooine. So they know. I noticed they actually use that. They play Sabak a lot in this because when they first introduced Pele Motto in this episode, she's actually playing Sabak with the pit droids.
Oh, that's right. I do remember
So
that.
it's kind of fun. All these little nods, man. It's just something to make you smile as a fan. It's just exciting. It doesn't have anything to do with the story. It's just awesome fan service, and that's kind of felt like this episode was really a fan service episode, but it still gave us more elements of the story that we were able to call back to later in season two, with like the
Hmm.
whole thing with Fennec, and of course the introduction of Pele Motto, um, the the character played by Amy Sedaris. She's like a comedian or something. I've never seen any of her comic, her skits or anything, but I only know her as a comedian. I don't know if she's in much else, but she did a good job. She was awesome. She had that real '70s look to her, the way her hair was and everything, and it kind of just made you think of the A New Hope era.
True. True.
I, I thought it was I thought it was cool. I liked her, and of course she's good in you know season two. But I don't. Did you catch? Someone told me, and I need to go back and rewatch it because I don't remember hearing it myself. Someone told me when she's playing Sabak with the pit droids after Mando takes off and he's doing his mission, and they see when Baby Yoda first starts coming out of the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
She you hear like a crate dragon sound, and that's
Oh
when they all
yeah.
like look up and they freak out. Someone told me that you hear that. I don't remember hearing that. So I need to go back and watch it. But someone told me, hey, if you pay attention when she looks up, that it's actually the crate dragon sound, the original crate dragon sound, not the new
Yeah, I
one,
don't remember that much either, but hey.
because they changed that one, So
So when he first got to Mos Eisley
uh-huh.
and he's just walking and you see the stormtroopers on the helmets on the pikes,
Yeah.
What'd you think of that? What were your
I
first thoughts?
like this is rugged territory. It's a western. It's you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
And
it's
it's kind
a
of a little warning to the Empire, like get out.
or Qui-Gon. It's you know Tatooine is a haven for those who don't wish to be found. Or places like this are havens for those that don't wish to be found.
Exactly.
Like us. I'm just kidding. Pat me. But no, that's just how that's classic Tatooine. It's kind of apart from the rules. People go there to just kind of live apart, which is we'll probably see a lot more of that in the Obi-Wan series.
True,
People
actually.
kind of doing it's the Wild West basically. People live by their own rules. There's no police. There's no order there. They just kind of they live rugged out there. It's the frontier of space.
Yeah, true. I don't know if you actually noticed this. I didn't really notice it until this time around. Because if you're watching season two, you know the speeder bike that Mando's riding.
Okay.
It's actually Calican's speeder bike. She actually keeps it because at the end of this
Oh.
episode, it's parked in front.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Did
So that's
did
kind
you
of a little
notice
Easter egg.
one quick thing too? I didn't realize until this last time I watched this episode. You actually see in the canteen it's showing some alien species, and you
Okay,
see,
yeah.
and so you remember in season 2 the frog lady, how
Oh
their
yeah.
species is supposed to be extinct. I saw like a frog like creature, like the same exact creature in the cantina.
No, it was
It,
her line. Their
okay,
line.
okay.
Not their
So I
species, just their line.
Okay, with the family line. Okay, because
Yeah.
in the okay, that makes a lot more sense because in the cantina you see a frog-like creature, the same creature that they had come out in season 2, and I kept going back to make sure it's the same one, and then I actually went and watched the scene from season 2. It's the same exact species.
Really?
It's a frog. It's a frog species. Yeah. So they actually, I thought that was kind of cool. They're kind of they're doing their own stuff, new stuff, and they're still doing callbacks to prequel era and original era and even sequel trilogy era. So it's just kind of fun. They're just meshing it all together. It's good stuff.
True. Yeah, yeah. I liked a lot of the nods to the characters. Kind of built up the whole cantina scene again.
Yeah.
Not as epic. All they were missing was just uh, uh, cantina music.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. It was all quiet, huh?
Yeah, just needed the modal notes. That's all you needed,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it would have been solid.
Yeah.
Um, so after I thought it was interesting because they enter the cantina, do the whole thing, and Mendo's like, "All right, I'll meet you here," and the guy destroys the tracking fob. He's like, "All right, now you got to work with me." He's like, "Don't worry, I've got it memorized." I
Yeah.
wonder what Mando was thinking. Mando's probably like, "Oh man, what a clown."
Yeah. No, that's probably exactly what he's thinking. He's like, oh my gosh, here we go. Gotta get this guy. I mean, he kind of had no choice. But I mean, he at this point he's on the run. He needs to make money.
Yeah,
So he needs to be able to keep fueling up the ship and feeding the kid and himself and he's got to take jobs. He's got to take jobs on the go. So what else is he going to do?
yeah, especially since he owed money to Petty Motto.
Yeah, that's right. And he owed money to her too.
He tossed her 500. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get more."
Yeah. Yep. So
And so the
yeah,
kid's like, "Oh, yeah, you can keep all the money, but I just need this job. That's all. That's all it is. I just need to complete this job. So I'm hiring you."
I like the camaraderie between Kelly Motto and Dinjarin. I like how they kind of become fast
Clicked.
friends. Yeah, they clicked really well. Like it'd be cool to see her as kind of, I mean, she's kind of almost like an Alfred character of the Mando verse, like she's kind of she's just kind of there to help and be his support here and there. Um, but yeah, it's good stuff. I love all the references and all the fanfare. It was a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, what did you think about this episode, man? All in all,
Overall, I
compare it.
thought this was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed the. I mean, it was a little slow in the beginning, but I enjoyed like a lot of the callbacks. And then once they actually got onto the mission, they're like riding the speeder bikes, and then they get to their actual target. They see just the dewback just dragging this failed bounty hunter that was going after
Yeah.
Fennec. So I thought that was really cool.
Well, I love another thing about Mandalorian. You said in the previous episodes we talked about. I just love exploring places we already know, but we get to see more of it. Um, Often with new movies, we see new places, new species, and it's fun to go back to places like Tatooine and see other areas that we haven't like necessarily been to, but if we have, we get to see more of them. And
Right.
sometimes I enjoy that even more than seeing new places because it's just, as a fan growing up and seeing these places, you only get so much of them in the movies and you always hear about other places and you don't get to see a lot of it. And it's just fun to see more. So that's one thing I like about episodes like this. It's just a fun little, exploring fan service sort of episode um, with some action and some story drive too. But it was definitely a solid episode. I enjoyed this one more than the last one personally. It'd probably be at this point if I could rate it, it'd probably be my like second. I probably say second least favorite because I definitely like the third episode the best so far of the episodes.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably say the first episode would be my second favorite, then maybe the third, the fifth, and then the fourth. Um, but I don't know. What about you? How would you rank this one
Honestly, probably one of my least favorites of the the season.
of the season? Is you say this is your least favorite of the five so far?
Of the well, maybe Sanctuary. No, I actually quite enjoyed Sanctuary, but yeah, I might say the least of the five so far.
The one quick note too I noticed is when he had the binoculars and they were looking out and you see the banthas kind of just sitting there. They had the callback to A New Hope when Luke's looking out on the binoculars and you just see the banthas, and then when he's like, oh, um, there's no sand, oh, there's sandpit, right? I can see one of them now, and then all of a sudden one's like right there. Well, they
Oh
had that.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they had that callback when they're looking at the banthas kind of parked and they're just sitting there and with their harnesses on, and then all of a sudden turn around, there's a Tusken Raider right there, and you kind of jump. It's kind of a jumping moment, except it doesn't obviously go crazy, but it's funny. It's funny how in this series they're making in just this new generation of Star Wars, they're making the Tusken Raiders to be like good people.
Yeah, that is true. Like we
It's
learn a
kind
little
of
bit more about him. It's like, oh well, from the Tuscan Raiders, from the
perspective,
Tuscans,
yeah.
it's like everybody else is the invader and they're the locals.
And I'm not so sure like how much I agree with that. It's cool. It's a different view. I get it, but in the prequels, they took Shmi and they tortured her and killed her just for the heck of it.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it this way. Like, if think about it, like the Tusken Raiders view this place as their home, and if you look at Knights of the Republic, I think they're kind of like pulling a little bit to that that origin of them, that the
Sure,
planet used to be lush and green and used to be like this place, and then everybody just starts coming in with their ships and just completely just destroys the atmosphere and the whole environment.
kind
And
of has
so,
almost sounds like maybe a call to the whole global warming thing, maybe with pollution of the earth and people are occupying the earth and industry and taking over every natural spot of the earth and people are worried about it sort of burning out over time,
yeah,
almost like a Venus that so Venus basically has that kind of runaway greenhouse effect where it's just too hot to be there now. It's vacant. There's nothing going on there. People are worried that that's going to be the Earth one day. Maybe that was kind of something happened to Tatooine at one point. Beautiful planet. People occupy it, suck up all the energy and pollute it, and before you know it, it strips its atmosphere. And except Tatooine actually has an atmosphere, I would imagine, because you can still live in it. That's kind of an interesting like so this is from the Knights of the Old Republic, right? You see it as a green
Yeah,
lush sort of.
yeah, that's Legends canon. It's not anything that they've really pulled into
Sure.
Disney's canon.
But they're kind of slowly putting little pieces of Legends as we go on. If you notice, they're having even Calican had that sort of Dash Rendar feel to him, didn't he? Not as
I would,
cool, not
I
as
would,
cool, but
yeah, I was kind of thinking. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but that's what he kind of reminded me of when I saw it as well.
his mask
Um,
and everything.
I'm, but they did mention Dash Rendar at whatchamacallit in Disneyland back when
Hmm.
they opened up Galaxy's Edge, or I think that was kind of like a rumor or something. But I would love to see Rendar make an appearance.
There's a lot of there's a lot of cool Legends characters they can still bring out, and we talked about before these shows uh, where they're taking place. It's still possible. I still want to see Mara Jade. She was my favorite character. Or
Oh
I
yeah.
know they definitely won't have Jason Solo, Darth Caedus, and Jaina Solo. They were probably a couple of my favorites too from the
Hmm.
Legends books. What's now Legends, but Mara Jade is my favorite Legends character. The OG purple lightsaber wielder.
Hmm. I think eventually they'll bring those characters in at some point, maybe in the
Yeah,
comics, because that's what they're doing with Dirge. I don't know if you heard they're gonna be bringing him
yeah.
back in the comics.
Which they actually have. We forgot to mention news, but they got all the extra Star Wars material coming to Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We
So
have
hopefully they're gonna consider that canon.
the Samurai Jack version Clone Wars, which I don't know if you've watched it recently, but I actually watched the first season and a little bit of the second season, and you can watch the whole first season in an hour, and it's incredible. It's super cool. That whole fight scene with Luke and Asajj Ventress on Yavin 4 is way cool, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited to see that again. Um, Jumping back into a cool battle, I actually
Yeah,
really like this whole sniper fight that they did with Fennec and Fett and Calican.
yeah, that was fun.
And I
The
like how
fight,
they had to like sit there and wait out the night. They're like, she's got the high ground, so she's not gonna move until we make a
oh
move.
yeah,
So let's wait till night, and then we'll
another
make
prequel
our strike.
reference.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
I
she's
liked
got
how they kind of rushed her. I thought that was actually pretty intense and pretty insane.
yeah, and then I like how I like how Mando's sort of like an animal trainer too. Like he'll ride the blurg and then he's riding the bantha and he's just kind of a he takes out the crate dragon. He's good with the beasts. He's a beast wild beast trainer guy. He's just
Basically,
like he's a Renaissance man. He's just good at everything.
pretty much. And he struggled with Blurg in the beginning, and once he becomes a Blurg master, it's like, oh.
Yeah,
So yeah, so this episode was pretty good. I'm sure there's a lot more that we probably didn't touch upon, but a lot of cool stuff in this episode. We can't wait to jump into the next episodes.
yeah. Especially
So
7 and 8. I love 7 and 8 a lot.
yeah, we had to cut this one short. We're kind of running a little bit out of time, but um, just don't forget to check the links in the bio where you can follow us on Instagram, and you guys can continue to talk and discuss everything that we saw in this episode, things we missed, things you guys liked. Uh, just be sure to comment, or you can even join our Discord where you can talk to us directly. We've got a great community there that it's thriving with conversation, and they talk about everything you can think of. Um, Also, if you want to show a little bit of your support, be sure to check out our shop. Get some of our awesome shirts that we spent a little bit of time designing. So uh, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. This is Echo 2 out.
And this is Echo 5 out
May the force be with you.
always.